Welcome to the 8th edition of World Intellectual Property Forum.
Hi, Madhav. It's great to host this session with you. So, Madhav, in all these years, we have been in industry and helping, our respective organization in a very different way to achieve respective business goals by providing right data and insights. But how do you define pattern analytics as a practice? What's your view on that?
Yeah, Govind, glad to be here with you on this panel discussion. As I see, IP search and analytics is for gaining insights and strategize based on the insights. It could be for novelty, freedom to operate, landscaping, or even tackling business or technical problems. Beyond this, I typically use IP analytics for business growth. As you know, the process involves data, extraction of that data, analysis, visualization, and then generating insights. But in reality, we work in the reverse way. What I mean is, we imagine what we would like to see in the end, and based on that, and with the tools and techniques available in hand, we perform the visualization, which is preceded by the analysis, extraction, and the kind of data that is available. So imagination coupled with access to right data and tools are the keys here. So Govind, based on your experience, what do you see has changed in the last decade, maybe in terms of data?
Sure. So, Madhav, one thing is very clear that volume has changed drastically. So I list in a different aspects how it has changed. So first is definitely the volume. However, when I looked into the data, and I have seen that the data has grown around 5% CAGR, in a way that it adds like 5% more data year on year, in terms of filing and number of filings in sort of all the countries. So we have added, around 29 million records in last 10 years. So imagine the kind of data that we are sitting now, because look at the previous 10 years back data, and then we add 29 million. Second thing that have changed is very much organized data is available now. A lot of countries have started to give more and more data in a more structured manner, and what has also changed in that way is that people are now creating niche services like tracking patterns of examiners and attorney firms and citations and so forth. So that has changed. Number of derived data, for example, there was a time we used to crunch all these statistics, number of litigation, citation, what is the company size, what is the total portfolio, different dates. There were like 5 or 6 types of dates that we used to calculate using the families. Now it is very much available at your disposal. You can sort of look at what is the difference between the application and publication of that. So that is really has changed. More and more open source data is available now. Google Patent, Google Scholar. Translation have really evolved, because that has been one of the larger change I see in terms of data, because the data, translated data is very clean, very contextual. The quality of translation is really good. But what I think that this data growth is also sort of correlated with the kind of Moore's law, which is very much talked about in the computing world, that every couple of years there is a change of speed and capability of computers, and we pay less for them. And same is happening with the data, that every couple of years, yes, it is increasing and everything, and we are paying less for it. And also at the same time, the computing power has also, sort of increased with the increase of data. Right? One variable, of course, change in terms of data is the literal explosion of Chinese data, right? Like has been growing as against 5%, worldwide. It has been growing since like 18% CAGR. That you have 18% more records every year. Of course. It started something around 200,000. Now we are sitting at 1.5 million or something every year, which is phenomenal, right? I mean, when we started back in 2010, a lot of people are questioned about, is it quality good? Chinese data is not that great. Patents are not really useful. But now it has been changing, right? A lot of change has been in terms of their quality as well, right? And with this, database providers are also trying really hard to come up with newer and newer ways to improve the data and the search results, right? And of course, they are being challenged by Google patent scope, SpaceNet, which has been evolving from a casual user to a semi-comprehensive search user, right? So professionals still on these databases, but I feel that more and more semi-comprehensive search are good, you are able to do it on the open source like Google patents or SpaceNet and so forth. So Madhav, what's your experience in last 2 decades in terms of analysis and searching all these data? I talked about data a lot in how it has changed, but what's your experience around how it has been on the searching and analysis side of these data?
All right. So Govind, I remember doing my maybe first search in May, June of 1999. Okay. And that time I used to search on a tool called Dialog and obviously STN. I'm using dial-up connection. Okay. And I remember there was a dedicated computer in a locked room. And then we had to, write down in a notebook who is accessing that computer for how long, kind of a situation, right? So when I remember that in today's situation, I get a smile on my face, right? And that's the change. That's the change. Now, if you tell this story to a new searcher, probably they won't believe. It is like the change in the mobile phone. If you tell your kids that phones were not there 20 years ago, I think their jaw would be dropped, right? So it's the same situation here in patent search and analytics. There have been tremendous improvements in the information that is available from patent offices. There is a value-added material coming from the vendors, the service providers. Ease in internet access is phenomenal. We cannot even probably explain that. And then the kind of bandwidth that is now available, right? Nobody probably would have dreamt of this bandwidth the way you and I are talking today on Zoom, recording this call with the clarity and the pixel level of the camera and so on. I think there has been a phenomenal change in things, including the interface available for search and analysis. I think they have changed tremendously, right? So in analysis, if you see, there are typical trends, lists, or even some matrices that are available. There are tools either integrated with the research tools, or there are independent tools which can take data from various sources and allow us to do analysis. Parallelly, I would say independently, in terms of visualization, there is stupendous development because that is not limited to IP, right? That is like any data science, data analytics, data visualization. And that has happened in last 2 decades. So I would like to understand from you, okay, or what is your experience around these, and what do you think has not changed much here?
Sure. Yeah, I agree, Madhav, that the change in a way we access to internet and how the processing powers of computer have changed. The speed at which we can crunch the data has really evolved, right? And while things have improved, how think about, how we used to read the drawings, right? Now the drawings are much easier. Like it can be clicked and on Google Patent or whatever, a lot of tools offer this, that you click on a drawing, you can see what exactly elements are talking about. So of course, those changes have been there, right? I mean, however, I don't see this as a, sea change. I still see this as an incremental evolution, because, if you look about, how we search today, I think a lot of searches, professional searchers are still relying on query based syntax, and I still feel that there is a long way in terms of, in evolving the way the query has been written now, and how it is going to be. uh, for analysis, we still rely on Excel and Word. When we do comparative analysis, mapping a document with an invention and so forth, I still feel that, I think majority of the analysts or teams rely on Word and Excel to do the mapping, and also, sort of doing these comparative analysis. So I think, yes, things have changed, but I still feel that it's more of incremental nature. If you think about the kind of data that, social media has started to generate, from 10 years, I was reading some statistics which was around 2 zillion zettabytes to now 41 zillion zettabytes, last year. So of course, with that, a lot of computing power is there. I still believe that there is a lot of room for improvement. And what we have seen so far in the IP world, in the analytics world, in patents, is a lot is incremental in nature. I mean, that's my view. What's your view, Madhav? How you think that it has changed for you to generate insights?
Yeah, I agree that data availability has certainly changed, and that has influenced the extraction and analytics with the computational power. As you said, most of the times we need to create, our own ways of extraction and analysis to generate desired insights, and these are not available on the tools that I have seen so far. I keep trying maybe 3, 4, 5 different tools every year to ensure that we have the best tool in hand, and then improve my own capability and the ICM capability in the organization. Not much has changed with the anatomy of the patent, right? So the patent document is as is, and the nature of data that is there. So there is like this structured data part of the document, there is a semi-structured part of the document, and then there is an unstructured part of the document. So in structured, it will be the bibliographic information. Semi-structured could be maybe citations and IPC, CPC maybe. And then unstructured would be the full text part of it, right? So that has not changed. Now, some tools use ultimate parent kind of analysis, or they allow doing that for searching. Some tools provide corpus or synonyms to improve your searching ability, right? And they assist the searching and to some extent analysis. But I feel these are not enough to generate the kind of insights that are required to influence a strategy or a research in the organization. So not much has changed on the analytics side, though there is a lot of like news or hype around it. But I see that not really much influencing the IP analytics domain. Okay, so let me throw this question to you now. What in your experience had changed over time from your client's expectations? So has that changed to any extent?
Sure. See, I think in my experience, the key questions from the client remain the same. I mean, questions like, who, what, when, and how, right? And these insights are pretty much driven by our old sort of, old gold metric, like, priority data and countries and company and citations, which has been with us for, long time. It's just that, of course, the amount of time to crunch these data have reduced, right? Because of the availability of data structure and, of course, innovation around it. Of course, that has also been one of the reasons that client has been pushing on the cost side, that they would like more cost effective insights, they would want more accuracy. with lower turnaround time. And this has been one of the major change, I feel, that the kind of amount that client used to pay for a typical landscape have reduced, because there is a lot of different tools, and definitely the computing power has changed, so it requires less time as against 10 years back. Another aspect which has changed is to look beyond patent data, right? One of the things that we have seen, that a lot of clients coming and saying that let's look beyond and try to correlate with other insights, like market insights, and let's say legal insights, because that basically gives more inclusive insights around patent data. No longer the time that patent data in isolation is relevant, or I would say that the kind of insights that client now are evolving to requires lot of lot of triangulation of data, lot of correlation with other kind of data. It could be news, it could be even sometimes social media, that if there is a certain trends around technology, you want to look at what is the social media trend around it. And I think reducing speed and cost will be the next big challenge for us going forward, and how of course we triangulate and correlate with this data. And having so much buzz around AI and ML, I think, what's your view on this? How do you feel that it will change and our future in terms of analytics?
Yeah, so AI and ML, again, there is a good hype around it, as I see, and I expect that to really relieve some of the your clients' expectations of reducing cost and time, I think, and then providing better insights, right? So in my work, obviously, like yours, reducing time and effort is important, but generating insights, influencing strategy or research is imperative, right? That's more important. Typical trends and the matrices that are available on the current tools are not good enough for them. They are available on any other tool, right? So what's really unique to each tool, and then how the tool can really allow you and me to extract the right information, maybe chemicals from a patent, and putting them against the ultimate parent or clean assignee. Or if I can extract chemicals and then prepare a matrix of maybe raw material and final products, or materials and applications. So all this is not much seen with the tools that are available around. So the analysis should change with the context of the requirement. So for a given data that one has gone through like 3,000 patents, screened through, and then selected 500 most relevant patents for analysis. Now, in that data set, today I could be looking for product information. Maybe next week I will be looking for the processes to make them. Third day I could be looking for applications for these products, and maybe in another week I could be looking for a different context. What I mean is, if the context of the analysis is changing, it will change over time in each project. With the given data set, can really the analysis change on any tool? And I don't see that happening on any tools as of now, right? You take case of the contour maps, right? And they are static, and then it's very difficult to change the map based on the context of analysis, right? The context of product, process, application, and whatever. So can tools allow me to do that? I think that is the crux of it, right? And then the insight will change if with the context. If the analysis is not changing, then gaining insight from those visualizations or those charts or maps or analysis is not possible. So that is not really coming out as of now from the tools.
Sure.
And then we have great tools. I said we have amazing visualizations available, but then as you know, garbage in and garbage out applies in there. because if you don't have the right information extracted, the tool is good. It is going to take whatever you give and give some visualization, irrespective of whether that is useful or not. So there are beautiful visualizations available, but there are not enough tools, number one, on the search side to make the search comprehensive, and on the analytics side or extraction side to extract the right information to feed into these tools and then get useful visualization. So what I typically see is a beautiful visualization as a placeholder on a presentation, which usually doesn't have any influence on the strategy, right? So we hear a lot tools using AI and ML for improved IP search and analytics. And as I said, I keep evaluating such tools, but they do not match, the delivery to the extent of the hype created. So AI ML are not new. They are few decades old. I heard in one of the discussions in TED, they are like 35-year-old, if I'm correct, right? And then with the improved computing power, now they are expected to deliver more. So to my understanding, they should simplify the search part, they should simplify the extraction part, and then we have the right visualization tool, or select the right visualization tool, and then generate visualizations which would provide quicker and better insight. So searching should be easy, extraction should be easy, analysis should be easy, and then you would get insights. So in analytics, again, using AI and ML, the tool should ease the analysis and provide answers to the question for which the search was done, right? So rather than providing automated reports on novelty, infringement, landscape, which are typically available on some of these tools with 50 different beautiful charts, can I get one matrix which provides the answer to my question or insight for the next strategy? I think that is my expectation.
Absolutely. I agree. And what is your closing remarks on what is the future of analytics and what do you see coming in future for us?
So there are different companies, even startups in even IT domain, who are having the parts and pieces of these kind of information. So somebody has the corpus or ontology or the what do you call taxonomy of terms. Somebody is having the corporate trees or ultimate parent. So as extraction method, computer languages, but somehow the integration is not there at this moment. So once these companies come together or cooperate with each other and then provide their, see, for end user like you and me, I think what matters to us is a streamlined process. We don't really bother about who is having what kind of information or who is having kind of what kind of algorithm. For us, what is important is, can I go to the tool, put in my question in terms of AI and ML? Okay, so if AI and ML is at its best, I think a user like you and me can submit a question there or a text there, and then I don't see magic to happen. Okay, I don't expect the magic to happen, but then it would prompt you that you entered this. So do you mean these also, right? Do you want to include these synonyms or these chemicals or these concepts? And it should be a semi-supervised model where the tool is prompting us and the SME is selecting some of that. Otherwise, it could be taking you in a very different direction. A simple example is, if somebody today looks for 3D printing and not know that it was called additive manufacturing 20 years ago, and the IPC CPC for them were different, and for 3D printing the IPC CPCs are different, I think this should be automatically taken care, right? So if I'm putting 3D printing, the AI and ML should understand that I mean additive manufacturing as well. Consider that the IPC, CPC or other classification codes, do a search, maybe multiple iterations in the background, and put few more keywords like additive manufacturing, which the user may or may not know, and then allow the user to select a few, go back, iterate, come back, and then give output which is more meaningful than a naive user just doing 3D printing and something, right? Or polymers in 3D printing. So I expect the tools to assist the user to do better searches, better extraction. Now, when I say extraction, again, when I'm extracting 3D printing related terms or even polymers which are used for 3D printing, now the tool should prompt me with what different kind of polymers are already used in 3D printing kind of patterns. Now, am I interested in those kind of polymers, or is the tool really not understanding what polymer is and also giving me some chemicals which are not polymers or not of my interest? And then I am allowed to choose some of those, and then it actually goes back and does improved search, and then throws out maybe 500 or 1000 results which are most relevant, which I then take for extraction. Now, when I take them for extraction, the tool should understand what class of polymer this is, and then help me, classify these polymers. And then can I put like Asani by this class of polymers, right? And then decide like which applications these polymers are being used, or this 3D printing is used. And then it could be like health, it could be like construction, it could be like something else. So it should be an assisted method where the user is prompted and assisted by the AI and ML there. So with the user's input and prompting by the tool, the whole process becomes better, smoother, faster, and then economic in this case. So that's how I visualize and expect AI and ML to help the IP industry here.
Sure, great. So I think we all, and you and I basically agree that AI ML, of course, as fancy as it is, which existed 35 years back as well, like you said, will not replace you and me, hopefully very, very soon. And of course, we would be required to give inputs for the system to work. My closing remark would be that the way I see AI and ML is that anything which is to do with rule-based, which is something that you can put a rule. It could be a complicated rule as well, but if it is a rule-based situation, I think AI and ML will, or the machine will go to a level that it will solve and take those decisions. But where there is a judgment required, where there is something which is out of ordinary, I think that is where humans will come in, and I think that that is the way I see the next 10 years, that a lot of rule-based things will go away in our jobs, which we actually do, which is pretty much rules that we do. And more and more judgment calls would be there in life of analyst. So anyone who is watching this video and maybe starting up their careers in IP, or they are in the late stage of their IP, I believe, in my personal opinion, that as to stay relevant in this industry, we have to build the skills around how to take that right judgment call, technically, which is basically cannot be taken by machine. It could be like Madhav said about relating 3D with additive manufacturing, which may or may not be done by a computer in future. But I think from that way, analysts can really benefit and stay relevant in the industry.
Continuing on your point, Govind, I think AI and ML will not replace you and me. Maybe less number of analysts will be required in any industry with the advent of technology. But then people like us would still be required to ask the right question to the machine, right? So unless we ask the right question, we will not get the right answer. So we need smart people who are on the edge to learn new things, new technologies, and then utilize the power of computation that is available here. And then I think we will see tools which are simple, which help us do processes faster, then output better, and then economy.
Yeah.
So I see that's how the future should be. Let's hope for the best.
Yeah. Thank you, Madhav. It was great interacting with you, and to all the WIPF conference attendees, thank you for listening in. And we hope we were able to add some value to you and also justify your time spent listening to us. Thank you. And from me, signing off. Thank you.
Thank you, Govind. And thank you for everybody watching this. I hope this is useful. Please reach out to us in case you have any questions or comments or suggestions, or if you need a discussion, extended discussion on this. Happy to interact with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhav.